For inmates across this province, the telephone is still the main means of communication with family, lawyers, and anyone else beyond the prison walls. But it is far from straightforward to make a call. And as our Eastern Ontario Hub journalist Marcia McLeod recently found out, progress improving the phone system is a work in progress. She joins us now from Kingston to explain. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you looked at phone systems in the Ontario prison system, but it was kind of an interesting way in how you kind of got to this story. Tell us about that process.
Yeah, so for most of 2020, actually, I was reporting for the Globe and Mail reporting on the Ontario's correctional system for the Globe and Mail, and I had one really striking call where I picked it up, and the person who's incarcerated in a facility said to me, "Hey, Marcia, could I ask you a favor?" And I said, it really depends on what the favor is. And he said to me, "Could you look up the phone number for H&R Block?" And I was kind of struck by that, just realizing he said to me, I had a banking issue, I need to call the bank. How difficult it is to get information, not just necessarily for contacting your family, but a whole range of services that you might need to get in touch with.
Very interesting. Now, I'm sure some of our viewers would be surprised to hear that for inmates here in Ontario, it's not straightforward to get access to a phone call. There are some issues and challenges and obstacles with that. Can you explain kind of how the system works?
Yeah, so imagine a payphone, just like that you'd see on the street, and that's what inmates generally have access to on the block. But when you pick it up, they're able to make collect calls. And I know, for some people, a collect call kind of seems like a relic from the past. I don't know where else collect calls are really used. And part of that means that the person who picks up on the other end is the person who pays the charges. But the really significant thing is that inmates are only allowed to call to landlines, so they can't call cell phones. And again, I don't know how many people who have a landline. I don't know a ton in 2021. And then the last thing I'll mention is that calls are capped at 20 minutes. So for instance, if you need to call your bank, but there's a 15-minute hold, then you'd only have 5 minutes left to actually deal with the matter at hand.
This seems like an obvious question, but I'm assuming inmates also can't receive phone calls, correct?
Yeah, no, it's a good question because I think that's something that people could be confused about. No, inmates cannot receive phone calls. They can only place outgoing calls. So if a family member is trying to get some information to an inmate, really their option is just to sort of sit around and wait for that next call. And I mean, maybe another thing that sounds obvious, but maybe isn't, is that of course there's no internet in a jail. So looking up a phone number can be pretty difficult.
Now, we have a couple of photos. Can you tell us what we're looking at here? Can we have the first photo up? There we go.
So this is Toronto South Detention Center. This is pretty typical of how the phones would be laid out, very much in a public space. If an inmate is making a phone call, pretty much anyone on their block can listen in to what they're saying.
And then the next photo here, what are we looking at?
This is actually Ottawa Carleton Detention Center, a minimum security range. And you can see at the back, there's a phone. Again, very similar. Everyone in the block can listen in on your call. And that's the place where inmates would have to make any call from and do any business that they need to do.
Now, Marcia, you kind of talked about, these are payphones. They look like payphones, but I'm imagining, I'm not putting in a quarter to put it in there. But the question I'm asking is, who's footing the bill here?
Yeah, it's a good question because it's a collect call based system. It's the person who picks up who pays. So for a law firm, when inmates call them, they just foot that bill. But for families who are receiving calls from loved ones, it can get really, really high and be a pretty big impact on their lives. I've heard that charges in the range of a couple $100 a month are very common. These charges can get really, really prohibitive for families.
Now, I understand in your article for TVO.org, you talk about how the government has helped inmates during COVID-19. Tell us about that.
Yeah, and so one thing that the government has done is that they have instated a $20 a month calling card. And so to kind of help offset the fact that with COVID, visits have been shut down sort of in the beginning of the pandemic. But and on this calling card, actually, it's interesting because what I've heard is that inmates can call to cell phones because it sort of subverts this collect call system. But the problem is it can't be topped up, and $20 goes very quickly.
I want to talk about who owns these telephone contracts at Ontario prisons. I understand there's a change of ownership from Bell to a company called Synergy. What do we know about that?
Yeah. So when Bell held this contract, they came under a fair bit of criticism, partially because some people found it quite hypocritical that they have this rather well publicized Bell Let's Talk Day, but it's difficult to talk from a prison if you cannot afford the costs.
Hmm.
So Synergy has taken over, and Synergy is based in San Antonio, Texas. And actually, I was really curious to know how many contracts Synergy had in Canada. And so I reached out to every provincial and territorial correctional system in the country. And I found that of 10 that replied to me, 8 of them contracted with Synergy, which I actually found that kind of surprising that their market share was so high.
Now, one of the things that we've learned in this pandemic with COVID is, that need to be connected to people, whether that's through the phone or through Zoom calls and stuff. But the same is said for inmates as well. What have you learned from the conversations that you had about the importance of inmates being needing to connect to family members, lawyers, and to their banks?
Yeah. So one thing I'll just say right off the bat is that in Ontario's correctional system, about 70% of people incarcerated in it, give or take, are pre-trial. So they're waiting to be sentenced, they're waiting for the trial, they're trying to sort out bail. And the reason I mention that is that Ontario is extremely reliant on what are known as sureties. Sureties are basically a person who says, yep, when that person gets out of custody, I'll watch over them, I'll be responsible for them. But to arrange a surety often involves a lot of coordination between families and inmate, often lawyers. And so not being able to connect actually can have really serious impacts for whether somebody can get their bail arranged. But second, I'll just say, when someone's in custody, life goes on. As we mentioned, there are bills. I've spoken to parents who are in custody and all they want is to be able to stay connected with their kids, I think is another big thing that I've heard.
Now, I am curious to know, with this province, how do we stack up with the rest of the provinces here in Canada and globally?
Yeah, well, Ontario actually of the ministries that I surveyed, all of them said actually that inmates already have the ability to call to cell phones. So Ontario certainly is an anomaly there, but also just outside of Canada, in the U.S., it's really not an ideal system because most of the time inmates' families are required to pay for this. But in a lot of state correctional systems, inmates do have access to a form of email. And additionally, I learned that in the UK, access to email in prisons is pretty standard.
And very quickly, I do want to ask you about, any solutions. You spoke to some advocates. Do we see any progress in this?
Yeah, I mean, first I'll just quickly say is that the ministry has said that they are going to get a system in place that allows calling to cell phones for the second half of 2021. Advocates say that's really not good enough. I've spoken to folks at the Jail Accountability and Information Line in Ottawa, which helps inmates connect to services and their families. And they said, what we really want is free calling and an elimination of those 20-minute caps.
Marcia, I want to thank you so much. Another very important story for the province. That's Marcia McLeod, our Eastern Ontario Hub journalist.
The Agenda with Steve Paikin is brought to you by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario. CPA Ontario is a regulator, an educator, a thought leader, and an advocate. We protect the public. We advance our profession. We guide our CPAs. We are CPA Ontario. And by viewers like you. Thank you.